My entitled brother took money out of my college fund to buy himself a car, so I reported him and got him arrested. My younger brother is 16 years old and he has been entitled all his life. Our mother always catered to his needs as he was her baby boy. He always got what he wanted when it came to presents and he made sure to let me know how he always got more than me too, and my parents justified this by telling me that he is younger. I remember at Christmas time 2 years ago the whole family really wanted to go to the cinema to watch a new Christmas movie which had come out, but he decided that he wanted to go watch something else and threw a tantrum when our mother tried to convince him to watch the Christmas movie. We of course ended up going to the movie he wanted to see. When growing up, he also resorted to tactics such as crocodile tears to get his way, something which always worked on my mother as she could never say no to him. I remember one time my brother broke down crying to my mother because he wanted a new Xbox, but my entire family was dirt poor at the time and we couldn't afford it. Well, my mother went out of her way to literally not buy anyone any Christmas presents the following month just so he could get his Xbox, the Xbox he used literally 3 times and forgot about. I remember being very hurt by my parents' actions all throughout my childhood. So, I started working at 15 years old and over the last 3 years have saved up a little bit of money which I have put towards my college fund. I have always wanted to go to college, but seeing as my family is quite poor I always knew I was gonna have to put myself through college. My entire family knew about this college fund and know how much money is in it, and have on a few occasions taken a few $100s out of it for rent and things like that. Well, a few weeks ago my brother turned 16. He asked me to buy him a car for his birthday, but I of course refused as I did not have the money to do so, unless I was to take out a huge portion of my college fund, something I wasn't willing to do. And the second thing is, my brother doesn't even have a license. Despite this he threw a tantrum and my parents both told me I should be a good older sister and just buy him the car. This led to a huge argument between us and I told them all that the college fund was my money which I had worked for. If my brother wanted a car so badly he could get a license, get a job and buy a car himself. This is when my brother started his crocodile tears, saying that he has ADHD and can't work normally like other people. My mother instantly took pity on him and gave him a huge hug, looking at me like I was the devil incarnate. Still, I ended up saying no and I thought that was that. Over the next week or so the car was brought up by my mother and brother ever so often, but I kept my stance the same. In hindsight I should have seen something coming. There was no way my brother was going to accept being told no for the first time in his life. Well, a week ago I came home from work to find another car parked in our driveway. I thought nothing of it and went inside where I asked my mother who bought the car. She told me my brother, and that's when alarm bells started going off. I asked her if she had bought it for him and she said no. I quickly panicked and ran upstairs to log into my savings account, where I saw $9,000 missing. I went insane when I saw this. I broke down crying and stormed downstairs to confront my mother. I asked her how she could do this to me but she played dumb and pretended she had no clue what I was on about. I realized this was an empty conversation however and went back upstairs. When my brother got home I exploded at him too, telling him he had no right to take my money and that I will be selling his car. He told me that this was not going to happen however and literally threatened to lay his hands on me were I to do that. I backed down when he said that and this was a moment I realized my brother really was insane. And so I did what any other person in my situation would have done. I waited until he took his car for his first ride and I tailgated behind him without him realizing. The thing is, my brother was actually driving to a party and had alcohol with him in the boot. While following him, I called the cops and informed them that I suspect someone drunk driving and without a license or insurance. I gave the location and the cops responded very quickly. They managed to actually get to my brother before he even got to the party. I watched far behind as they pulled up to his car and took him outside. I saw him failing to provide a license or car insurance, and furthermore I saw the cops getting him to blow into the breathalyzer, upon which he was put into the back of the cop car and his car was called to be towed. So after getting put into the cop car, my brother was taken to the station. I had gone home by this point so I was there to see my mother melt down when he called her from the police station. She answered the phone and when she heard the details of what this was all about, she instantly started pleading, telling them that they must have made a mistake and there was no way her son was indeed driving drunk. Yep, he was drunk after all. I heard the phone call last about 20 minutes and when it ended I saw my mother in tears, scrambling to get everything she could and literally running out of the house to drive to the police station. I tried to act clueless and asked her what was going on, but she literally ignored me as she barged past me to go outside. My dad was at work at this point but he was bound to find out soon. Well, a few hours later my mother came home with my brother and my dad. I acted clueless and confused and asked what had happened. That's when my family told me we needed to sit down and talk. I listened attentively, trying my best not to blow my cover and let them know I was the one behind this. Well, my mother had told me that my brother was being charged with drunk driving as well as driving without a license, as well as possession of alcohol while underage. My mother told me that she had just spent $5,000, the last of her and my father's savings in order to bail my brother out. She told me that they had no money to pay their rent and needed to borrow from me. I sat there shell-shocked, in disbelief almost. My mom continued speaking, telling me that she now expects me not to leave for college next year like I had planned to. She told me that she demands I take a gap year to work full-time and pay for the rent of the house so her and my dad can use the year to get back on their feet financially. This all happened while my brother was in the kitchen making himself a cheese toastie, not even listening to anything. Anyway, I refused to do any of that, telling my parents that this was a ridiculous ask and it isn't my fault that my idiot of a younger brother decided to drive drunk without a license. My mother piped up telling me not to call him an idiot, but I told her that it's the truth. We went back and forth for a while and I put my foot down, telling them I will not be paying rent this month, I will not be helping out with lawyer fees in regards to my brother, and I will certainly not be staying back a full year and helping them pay rent. I told them they can deal with this entire mess themselves, as if they had just not gone behind my back and bought him a car. All of this could have been avoided. After saying that, I went up and started packing. My mother tried to stop me, but I locked my bedroom door and dealt with her yelling as I packed. I texted my best friend asking if I could stay over for a few days and explain the current situation, and she agreed. I ended up having to literally physically push past my mother at the door with my suitcase. She cried a lot and called me a plethora of names, telling me I will come crawling back once I realize how much they do for me. I'm never coming back though. I've put up with their crap for long enough. I blocked my entire family as soon as I got to my friend's house and have been staying here for the time being.